Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm sorry that I have been so busy the past couple days. I haven't made any videos, and I'm still busy today, and I'm busy tomorrow. So I've had rehearsals. I got to play a cover band gig tomorrow night for some corporate event, and today's just a long day at work. So I'm just not having a lot of time to make videos, especially out in the garage. But I will this weekend. But I didn't want to leave you hanging for too long because I know there's some big news that's going on and people have asked me my opinion. So you guys are getting a car video today, so I hope you can handle that. I know that some of you guys come to my channel and I guess lovingly you disagree because you tell me I'm wrong because I guess I'm kind of black-pilled. In general, I say that the future of our Second Amendment is in great doubt. I don't have much hope for it. And I know a lot of people that are on and watch gun YouTube today and all of the firearms legal channels. They get you all hyped up on hope. They get you all hyped up on what I believe is a clear and concise understanding of the Second Amendment and basic English, I know I always joke, shall not be infringed and all that kind of stuff, and the ATF can't create law. And I actually agree. I always say, it is what the Second Amendment says. I think that we're all on the same page of what it actually means. But there's two sides of the coin here when it comes to the Second Amendment. There's the Second Amendment in theory, and there's the Second Amendment in practice. And in theory, shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. Okay, the ATF can't create law. You guys hear me joke about that all the time. However, in practice, it's something different. Now, just because it's in practice, it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that I agree with it or you have to agree with it. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means that a majority of our fellow citizens are okay with it happening, and they don't actively work to rein in the powers that be, okay? And it's the practice of the Second Amendment. So, like I've mentioned before, people that say, I will not comply, well, when you fill out a 4473, you've complied. When you get a concealed carry permit in your state, you comply. When you do other things, you comply. It's just complying is what a lot of you guys do. So I know that when it comes to a lot of the things that get you all fired up and, and you want to rally for the cause, you say all these things, but you don't really kind of think them through. But the news I want to talk about today is something that a lot of people, I had about 5 or 6 messages between Instagram and Facebook and text messages from people I know here in town asking me my opinion on the district court judge. I believe it's Judge O'Connor in around here, actually, in the Northern District of Texas, having an injunction against the ATF and the enforcement of the ATF pistol brace ban, essentially. And it protects the people that are members of FPC. It protects the people that are members of the family and the named plaintiffs in the lawsuit. And I guess it protects the companies and the people that bought from those companies that are mentioned in the lawsuit. And I went online, and on Instagram you have FPC, which is a great organization, by the way. They have all these funny memes that they're always posting. And even they're talking about this great news. Wow, big win, and so forth. And great. I'm so happy for all these people. However, here's your black pill moment and why you're here, okay? And remember, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I've been right, okay? I told you about what was going to happen with the ATF pistol brace thing. There was no immediate relief. There was no injunction. It went into effect. I told you that people weren't going to get visits from the ATF. No one's dog was going to get killed. They were going to allow people to amnesty register foreign made pistols. 922R compliance wasn't going to be an issue. I told you exactly how the Matt Hoover case was going to end up. I've just talked to you about what happened out in California when it comes to the high capacity magazine ban. I said we all knew what Judge Benitez was going to say. We all knew the Ninth Circuit was going to play games. We all knew that they're going to stop it, and that's the way it's looking right now. And I'm going to tell you right now that when it comes to what's happening in that district court, which is overseen by the Fifth Circuit, your hope is going to be fleeting, because this is going to be a temporary thing, and in the long run it's not going to mean much. And the ATF pistol brace ban, in a best case scenario, for us winning on the Second Amendment side, it's still going to be enforced in a majority of the country. And worst case scenario, it's going to be enforced in the entire country. Okay, so let's talk about what all of this means and my interpretation of what happened. So imagine we're talking about a different amendment, okay? The First Amendment, right to religion, okay? Imagine that some regulatory agency, okay, passed some rule saying that it is now illegal or a felony to go to a Presbyterian church, okay? Now, obviously, that is unconstitutional, okay, because you have the freedom of religion. And we would all agree with that, even if you're not a Presbyterian or not even Christian. And the remedy for this, because it is so blatantly unconstitutional, would be that a judge, starting off at the district level, would issue not just like an immediate injunction, but something that is so broad. They would say this cannot be enforced nationwide. It is that egregious. It is that unconstitutional that it's not just going to be helping the named plaintiffs in the case and their families. It is going to be a nationwide thing, because it is self-evident, it is obvious about how unconstitutional it is. Well, does this injunction, which, by the way, this is just kind of a continuation of a previous temporary injunction that was supposed to last for 60 days. And of course, we know the courts are dragging their butts on this, and nothing's happened. So that it came up, and Judge O'Connor was like, well, I got to do something about this. Okay, so he extended it. And I said, I already told you who the named plaintiffs are and how they're protected. But to show you the doubt in O'Connor's injunction, and I think in his own legal mind, it only affects and protects the plaintiffs. That's it. If this was so blatantly unconstitutional, with the threat of jail time, 10 years in jail, $250,000 fine to people all over the country, his preliminary injunction would have covered the entire nation. It would have been a lot broader than what it is, but it's not. It's it's narrow in scope, and that tells me a lot about his thinking. It means that, okay, in his courtroom, the plaintiffs have a high probability of winning on the merits, but that tells me that the relief, and right now the injunctive relief, is going to be narrowly tailored to those people that are affected and named in the case. It's not going to be nationwide. Now, of course, he's just a district judge, so his powers have to be reserved. But let's just say everything goes as planned and he overturns the rule. Just like in the Ninth Circuit, okay, the Fifth Circuit oversees Texas, which, by the way, the Fifth Circuit has been a lot more pro-Second Amendment than many of the other circuits, okay? So if this is going to be decided anywhere, having it in the Fifth Circuit is best case scenario. So what do you think's going to happen? And there are anti-judges in the Fifth Circuit when this goes up to the next level. Immediately, whatever Judge O'Connor says, and let's just say it's great news, groundbreaking news, okay? We already know the ATF is going to appeal it to the Fifth Circuit. And it's going to go through the same process as before. It's going to go to a 3-judge panel, which is randomly selected. and you could get 2 anti-gun judges that say Judge O'Connor got it wrong. And by the way, while they're deciding this, because they want to give benefit of the doubt to the government, because that's what government does, they're going to say, okay, we're going to put Judge O'Connor's ruling, we're going to put it on hold while they decide it. And then let's just say you get 2 anti-gun judges, because we have had anti-gun rulings in the 5th. Then, of course, whoever wins or loses, it's going to go up to the 5th Circuit. And from there, I see it as a 50-50 case scenario, one way or the other. I can see, because they are more pro-gun and how they've ruled in other cases, I could see them saying, Judge O'Connor got it right, and say and let that ruling take effect. But does that mean you can now have a brace pistol? Yes, if you live in the 5th Circuit. It won't cover the whole nation. It won't cover anywhere else. I think the 5th Circuit is what? Texas, Louisiana, is it Arkansas? That's about it. Okay? So if you live anywhere else besides where the 5th Circuit is, you ain't going to be covered. Okay? Now, of course, whoever wins or loses there is going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. And this whole process takes years and years and years. And by the time we get some final resolution in 5, 6, 7 years on this, no one's going to care about pistol braces anymore, because it will be gun culturally irrelevant, because now we'll have so much time where you have not been allowed to have pistol braces that the passion is not going to be there. The infrastructure for pistol braces is not going to be there. It is just not going to be there. Like, you're not going to have any manufacturers. You're not going to have gun companies making AR or AK pistols with pistol stabilizing braces. It's just not going to be there. So the ruling will be ineffective and irrelevant to most people. And that's like the best case scenario. So that's how I see it. So I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are all celebrating and woo, we won. No, it's a narrow ruling. And if you're all worried about it, okay, you can go join FPC and you'll be covered, okay? The only issue is you have to continue being a member of FPC, and that your rights, I think we all agree that the brace pistols are your right, are now going to be contingent upon you being a member of an organization. And let me ask you, when you have a corrupt government that will try to do and win anything by hook or by crook, how long do you think it's going to be before the Department of Justice or the ATF raids FPC for some reason and magically gets all the lists of all the people on that list? So if they don't have you on a 4473, they're going to have your name, what you're donating to, and all it's going to take is a corrupt government to say the FPC, because they fight against common, safety or whatever, they're a terrorist organization, and they're going to go after them, and you're going to be a labeled terrorist. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Jason, you're going way off the reservation on that. I don't think it's going to happen soon, but you guys know it is well within the scope of how things are going in this country. You guys know it is. It's not a win. It's not a win. This whole thing is not a win. I've made videos on my main channel in the past that we're going to lose our Second Amendment rights. And we are. Because the judicial system takes too long, is ineffectual, and refuses to give a definitive answer on anything. Even if it goes to the Supreme Court won't just say, hey, you know what? We're going to rule on it. Here it is. Pistol braces are legal. What they're going to do is go, okay, lower courts, you got it wrong. We're going to send it back to you, and you got to use this analysis. And it goes all the way back to the district court, and it has to be re-adjudicated, and the whole thing has to go through the process again, and then it'll be the same ruling. Then the the 3-judge panel gets it, and they do the whole thing, and then the whole 5th Circuit does it again. And then, of course, if they still want it, there's no repercussions if they ignore the Supreme Court. Then it has to get appealed to the Supreme Court again, and then by then the makeup of the Supreme Court could be different, or they'll just go, you guys got it wrong again, send it on back down. It will never end. Nobody will ever give a definitive answer. And some people right now are looking at Judge O'Connor's ruling saying, wow, this is amazing and awesome because of what he says about the NFA. And this might start to change the landscape for us repealing the NFA. Yeah, great. But let me ask you, what judge is going to risk putting themselves on the line to be the judge that has the NFA overturned and allows machine guns again? Okay, we all think we should have machine guns, right? I think it's your right. We all agree. But no judge is going to put that on paper. You know, what's the case in Massachusetts when it comes to the stun guns? Was it Korematsu? You know, they said that they're constitutionally protected, stun guns are, because there's like 200,000 in circulation. Well, guess what? According to the ATF, there's 264,000 transferable civilian-owned machine guns. So that's way more than that threshold. So they're in common use, so they should not be regulated. But no judge is going to help dismantle the NFA because that would ultimately conclude that machine guns should be unregulated, and they're never going to do that. So I'm glad that a lot of you guys have hope. I think it's great. I know that, you know, you guys want to be part of the thing and celebrate, but trust me, they're going to do something. You guys will be on to the next topic du jour next week. You'll be all frustrated and mad and saying the ATF can't create law and shall not be infringed on whatever the next thing is. You know, it's just like liberals when it comes to, you know, there was, of course, COVID-19, and then there's like the war in Ukraine, and just goes from one thing to the next, and everyone on that side has to be upset about whatever the thing is. And that's what the gun world does. Whatever the thing is. Matt Hoover, pistol braces, one time it was bump stocks, and then it was 4473s are being changed. Do you guys remember a few months ago when you guys were like, oh my God, the ATF is raiding FFLs, or the DOJ is, or IRS is raiding FFLs, they're getting all of your information, or they're coming after you. It doesn't, what happened with that? What happened with that? Nothing. But that was the topic du jour of that week, and all the gun channels that talk about legal stuff, even some of the ones that, you know, talk about guns, like Mr. Guns and Gear, you know, he came on there, and he's a nice guy. I like him. I like Mike and all that. I think he's cool. But he came on there talking about this grand overreach and all this kind of stuff, and what happened? Nothing. What other gun stores have been raided by the IRS? None. It actually looks like this gun store probably did some illegal things tax-wise. That's what happened. Exactly what I said was going to happen, and they got caught. It had nothing to do with guns or them trying to get 4473s, and it was none of that. But anyway, you guys just want to go on to whatever the next big thing is. You all want to have hope. I don't blame you. I hope that some of you guys sleep a little bit better tonight thinking you won some type of victory. But you know as well as I do, you'll be pissed off about something else tomorrow. And it just keeps you in this endless cycle. So you click videos, keeps you on this endless cycle. So you're constantly raging and upset and typing in the comments, shall not be infringed, and the ATF can't create law. But that's it. I guess I just see it as a content creator. But I also want to be real, factual, and logical. So that is my thoughts on what happened here in North Texas and Judge O'Connor and the ATF pistol brace rule. So I hope some of you guys enjoyed this, and I'm sure I made some other people upset. But you guys know, I know everything. I say it all the time, and all my predictions come true. Batting 1,000. But anyway, I know some people will say I'm wrong, and you're going to tell me how I'm wrong, but that's okay. That's okay. As I told you, what one of my teaching mentors once told me, it doesn't matter what you tell a student. What matters is when they're ready to hear it. So hopefully one day you guys will be ready to hear it all. So, as always, thanks for watching.